Eric Darling here with Darling Data, and today's video is a little funny thing that I ran into. I was writing some training material up, and I ran into a funny thing. Was talking about index views and the NOEXPAND hint. Now, there are many good reasons why you may want to use a NOEXPAND hint when dealing with index views, particularly in Standard Edition. Like perhaps because you don't want SQL Server's optimizer to attempt to expand the indexed view to the underlying definition and, maybe have worse performance. You might also want statistics automatically created on your index view. Good reasons to use the NOEXPAND hint, but I ran into something funny with it where it was like when I used the NOEXPAND hint, I was not getting the parallel plan that I wanted. But when I dropped the NOEXPAND hint, all of a sudden, happy fun parallel query. So we're going to talk about that today. Down in the video description, you will find all sorts of links that are helpful to both of us, right? It's a symbiotic relationship. You can give me money, I can make your SQL Server faster, or you can give me money and you can receive training from me, or you can give me money and also continue to receive YouTube content, which I mean, I don't get paid much by the hour for the YouTube content, to be honest with you. So, that'd be nice. But, apparently I'm like 10 million subscribers away from that being lucrative. So we'll just have to punch harder. Get those numbers. You can also ask me office hours questions for free. I answer 5 of those every Monday. And of course, if this content is up your alley, you should like and subscribe, of course. And if you know someone whose alley this might also be up, you should tell them to watch it and hopefully like and subscribe as well, because how else am I going to hit 10 million YouTube members, and then I can finally stop doing all the other stuff and I can just stream all day long. Wouldn't that be great? This November, I will be in Seattle with Ms. Kendra Little hand delivering 2 days of the best T-SQL pre-connery you will ever see in your life. So you should go there. You should come to Seattle on the appropriate date and come to the pre-con and get some stuff from me and Kendra. It'd be great for everyone, right? We all win. We all continue to win in this wonderful market economy that we've built for ourselves. All right, let's talk about NOEXPAND. So this is my index view. You may behold its majesty. You may behold its beautifully formatted majesty. So there's the view, and this is the index that I created on it. So we've got all fine things there. Now, on to the interesting stuff. I've got a store procedure that queries the indexed view. And the whole point of the store procedure is to allow me to inject hints and options easily without having to rerun the query that hits the index view, and I'll show you why here. So let's first run this store procedure with the NOEXPAND hint. Thank you, SQL Prompt, for making yourself known. And let's look at the Messages tab. And in the Messages tab, we're going to see the query that hits the index view. This is why I don't want to have to keep highlighting the whole thing. This is much more compact. But you'll see that I have the NOEXPAND hint supplied here, just like I have in the hints parameter up here. And the execution plan for this irks me. Why? Well, it's a serial plan, and I do not want a serial plan. I want a parallel plan. The problem is, in this case, the NOEXPAND hint does something kind of funny. It doesn't prevent parallelism in all cases, of course, right? That's not my point. I've certainly seen the parallel queries with the NOEXPAND hint applied to them. That's not what I'm getting at here. This is just a curious case, right? So just like a weird thing. Now, if I rerun the store procedure, right? We execute this and we say no hints and no options. You'll notice that was a little bit faster, and of course we got a parallel plan because of that. If you go over to the Messages tab and we scroll down to where the table gets hit, we now have a blank spot where there was once a hint supplied in there. So, like I said, the NOEXPAND hint does not prevent parallelism. If I run the query with the NOEXPAND hint, and I also use the use hint enable parallel plan preference, well, SQL Server comes up with actually, let me show you one thing first. If I run this, oh wait, let's come back to the original one. This is sort of a funny thing about it. If I run this, when we get the serial execution plan, it has a cost of 22.6722 query bucks, right? So the serial plan was not expensive enough, right? The estimated cost of the plan did not break my cost threshold for parallelism setting, right? Which is weird because when we run it without the NOEXPAND hint, we get a parallel plan, right? So it's like why would the NOEXPAND hint end up here, right? Did SQL Server just not like go find some more stuff? It's a good question. We're going to answer that. Now, if we look at the cost of the parallel plan that we get without the NOEXPAND hint, right? This, of course, has a cost of 9.3 something query bucks. So SQL Server did find a cheaper parallel plan, right? So at some point, without the NOEXPAND hint, the optimizer did some more stuff. What more stuff did it do? Maybe we'll be able to answer that. But what SQL Server does is it went out and it found maybe a more expensive serial plan and then found the cheaper parallel plan and said, oh, I'm going to go with the cheaper parallel plan. So there is the exploration space there. For some reason, we just don't hit it when we use NOEXPAND. Now, like I said, it is possible to get a parallel plan with NOEXPAND hints. I've seen plenty of times where it happened completely naturally, but in this case, we don't get it. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to run it with NOEXPAND and the use hint enable parallel plan preference so that we get a parallel plan even with NOEXPAND there. And you'll see that it is possible. It does happen for us. Sort of curious, and this is the very curious thing. If we look at the cost of the parallel plan with that hint supplied, it is 5.2 query bucks. So that's even cheaper than when it found the parallel plan naturally without the NOEXPAND hint. So what happened in there? Well, I was able to get some answers, not full answers. If we run, so I'm going to show off some rocket sciencey trace flags here. The first one is 8675, which will show us how many tasks the optimizer applied to a query while it was optimizing it. So this is without the NOEXPAND hint, and without the NOEXPAND hint, if we look at we get the parallel plan. If we go over to the messages tab, this is where SQL Server will show us the stuff that it did, right? So the number of tasks, which if we scroll down a little bit, we'll eventually get to, so at the end of, actually that was important, the end of search 1, we had a cost of 136.73 query bucks, right? So there we go, right? So that was the cost of the serial plan. And then if we keep scrolling down, we'll have more tasks. Look at 7,200 tasks. And if we keep scrolling down, we'll have this end exploration, right? And this is where SQL Server found the parallel plan that cost 9.3 whatever query bucks, right? So keep that number in mind, 7,239, okay? Now, if we run this with the NOEXPAND hint and those same trace flags, what we'll see is something a little bit different, right? So we get the serial plan again. If we scroll through messages, we'll have 1900, end of search 1, cost 2,200 query bucks. So SQL Server did fewer tasks here, right? The other one had like 7,200. This is only 1,900. But the end of search 1 here, remember there were 2 end of search 1. So SQL Server ended search 1 on the last one with a cost of 130 something query bucks. This one ended search 1 with a cost of 22 query bucks. So this is why, like, we just didn't go into that additional exploration space for some reason with the NOEXPAND hint applied. There were a couple other trace flags that I tried, or rather there was one other trace flag that I did try to look through a bit to try to figure out where things were going weird in here. But the output of 8615 is not very easy to manage. You'll notice that the scroll bar over here is, and that's quite a small little rectangle scrolly thing. And there is quite a bit of information in here to get through that I just couldn't, like, I couldn't make enough sense of this to figure out if there were, like, where the actual change and stuff was to, like, find where parallelism was, either where, like, the plan wasn't, where the same space wasn't explored, rather. So a little bit of just an oddity thing there, and a little bit of how I looked into it further. That's about it. It's not telling you not to use index views and not telling you not to use the NOEXPAND hint, but if you ever run into this situation, maybe this is the same reason why. I don't know if NOEXPAND in general limits the search space more than not using the NOEXPAND hint. Maybe it does. I don't know. I don't have that much insight into what the NOEXPAND hints interactions with the optimizer, but it might be something interesting to delve further into as time allows. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves. I hope you learned something. And I will see you in tomorrow's video. I believe we'll talk something about query correctness or something like that. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, thank you.